The spirit of once enslaved African King Cuffy must be kept alive. This was the recurring message during a special ceremony for Clement Armstrong's induction into Cuffy's Hall of Revolutionaries. Armstrong, known as the Mayor of Speightstown, is an ardent supporter of history and social justice and was hailed for his hard work and impact in the Barbadian community over the years. On the night of induction, Armstrong said the gift of recognition through the induction was a perfect one.
This is really a good gift for me. And I thank God, thank my parents, and my brothers down here, my Speightstonians, as well as I got called in. He was my struggling for over 20 years of over. Sorry that Sophie Gibbons is not here. He passed away, as you say. I'm crying, I don't cry too much. I just try to get my emotions going. But thanks to the performances, everyone talk in the tongue. Deep down, the most powerful thing in human being. The guns, the drugs. You talk. But he brought my God, and he told Dr. Mary, hey, I said this because I think I have something in common with Clement and Cuffy and myself. Because I want to know the truth. What drives me, and I love doing it, is simple and spicy food. I will start with this quest of thanking people. The pain with purpose, pain with purpose, and joy. And that's joy in my heart. And the happiness.
The 1675 revolt led by Cuffy, which is commemorated on the 12th, should forever be remembered by Barbadians. Word of this came from Minister of Labour, Social Security and the Third Sector, Colin Jordan, who delivered a featured message on the night.
It also caused and continues to cause psychological damage to our people. We have therefore a responsibility to export concepts of freedom, concepts of equality, concepts of self-determination to the world, to the entire globe. Hence, the Speightstown Global Freedom Festival.
Jordan reminded that the psychological damage of a colonial society must at all costs be fought against. This commemoration of Cuffy was a dream deferred, but one which has finally come through, Minister Jordan added.
Today's celebration for me is part of a dream that is coming true. It is a dream that started when I asked Professor Sir David Beckles to deliver a lecture in February of 2020 titled From Cuffy to Owing. And that was intended to speak to the desire, the fight for, the struggle for self-determination of a people that had been shackled by systems from as far back as the system of slavery to more modern times when larger and more powerful countries attempt to dictate to smaller countries how smaller countries ought to behave in the global space. We did this under the leadership of the Parish Organizing Committee. In 2021, then we launched the book written by Sir Hilary that came out of that lecture. We were approached by Dr. Murray and the Center for Hybrid Studies with their idea of the Speightstown Global Freedom Festival. We immediately accepted their invitation to make this proposal into a reality. And this year, we have the first edition of the Speightstown Global Freedom Festival. I want to thank Dr. Murray and the Center for Hybrid Studies for working with us to make sure that we keep the spirit of Cuffy, the spirit of freedom, alive.
Remembrance of Cuffy should help Black Barbadians to continue to have laser focus on that fight for freedom and that there is a legacy to be kept alive.
Or reflecting on Cuffy causes us to examine several roles being played by people in our community today. It helps us to keep our focus on that struggle for freedom. It helps us to remember that there is a legacy in St. Peter and in Spikestown that seeks to determine what our destiny ought to be and not to have it dictated to us. Today, this evening, we honor one who has worked tirelessly to keep this legacy alive. I refer to none other than the one who we affectionately refer to as the Mayor of Spikestown, Mr. Clement Jr. Armstrong. Thank you, sir, for your hard work over the many decades, and it has been many decades of a fight to keep life in Spikestown, a fight to go against the question that was asked if Spikestown is dying or losing its relevance.
Meanwhile, lecturer and director of the Center for Hybrid Studies, Dr. Derek Murray, presented the Ashanti stool and spoke of its importance to the people of Barbados.
Start some traditions starting this evening, and I have an Ashanti stool that I trust to the representative from the area, St. Peter. And the Ashanti stool is sacred to the Ashanti people. It houses the soul of the Ashanti people. It is said that once a British Army commander speaking to the Ashanti people after they invaded the land, speaking to them, said to them he was speaking to them about the fact that they're going to dominate them, what they're supposed to do, and so on. And they were listening peacefully, quietly. And he made the mistake of sitting on the Ashanti stool. And nobody protested, but they said that they went home that very night and they planned for war. So the Ashanti stool can be seen from now on. This particular Ashanti stool is symbolic of housing the aspirations of the people of Spikestown and St. Peter. And we're entrusting it to the Member of Parliament. He met me a few weeks ago and said that he would like one. I decided that I would let him have one tomorrow. And he will bring out this stool every Emancipation Day as part of the Emancipation Day celebration. And here's the stool representative. I think you should take that because you're large enough.
In the spirit of King Cuffy of June 12, 1675, this Ashanti stool is entrusted to the Member of Parliament for St. Peter, Honorable Parliament Jordan 2022. It is a symbol of freedom in the Republic of Barbados. Thank you very much.
Minister with responsibility for culture, Dr. Chantal Munro-Knight, said that the commemoration of King Cuffy is a reminder of the resilience of those Black Barbadians who went before and who are a source of inspiration for those Barbadians who currently exist.
The place where we stand and where we are today was built very much on the backs of the tears, of the cries, but also on the resilience of those freedom fighters. It fills me then also as well with a sense of bravery, because certainly when we look at the world that we live in today, faced with so many problems, adults and COVID and everything else, you can become a little bit despondent. But if we look at where we are today and the developments that have taken place, then we should be brave, because certainly those men and women who came before us, they didn't have what we have. The opportunities that we have now, it was their fight who provided for those. As rather sometimes, as we often would do, as I said before, become a little bit despondent, hang our heads a little bit, become a little bit uncertain. I think that tonight is the night that we can celebrate. Tonight is the night that we can lift our heads up and be able to say thank you and to forget perhaps in this moment some of our own kinds of troubles. But remember and celebrate where we have come from.
Dr. Monroe Knight added that the season of emancipation is the ideal time for Barbadians to find a different definition to who they are.
The season of emancipation 2022 is set to reflect, celebrate, but also redefine who we are in our own way. The definition of our culture, the definition of our history, is often one that is told to us. As we come out of the context, as we seek to recover in the context of this new environment that COVID has given us, it provides us with a space to, like I said before, reflect. But as we reflect, that we can then look with new eyes, look with a different lens at our history and how we want to be able to share it and how we want to be able to tell our own stories.
The minister spoke to the criteria for selection of nominees for Cuffy's revolutionaries, including those who have had a significant tie to Speightstown.
It should be noted that the criteria for the selection of nominees for Cuffy's revolutionaries included having some significant ties to Speightstown, working to empower African descendants, as well as making a significant contribution to culture, business, sports, or other noteworthy endeavors that have assisted either in Speightstown or in the north of the island. It is proposed to have a physical wall or monument constructed where the list of names of the inductees will be permanently and publicly displayed. It is worth noting that the honorable nominee, Mr. Clement Armstrong, perfectly fits the criteria as a well-known businessman and the sponsor of many culinary and cultural activities in Speightstown over many years. It is expected that during the season of emancipation, persons from all phases of life will join the Speightstown to discuss, promote, and see the best examples of what it means to be free.
The stories of revolutionary Barbadians must be told, and the story of Cuffy must and should be included in the narrative.
Cuffy's story is one that is not well known, but is important to developing a strong Barbadian consciousness. Indeed, Cuffy's link to Speightstown deepens the story of trade and supplanted within the story the struggle for justice and resistance of the enslaved people. The various sites in Speightstown associated with Cuffy are certainly suitable for nomination of the Barbados National Register of Historic Places. From a policy perspective, this fits within the division's mandate to preserve Barbados' heritage. It also presents the opportunity to link the story of Cuffy in Speightstown to the establishment of Walthall Prison Village. Both sites, because of their rich history, can be situated within UNESCO's route of enslaved peoples, resistance, liberty, and heritage.
The evening of Cuffy's commemoration also included African dedicated dance and theatre, which was very well received. Noted spoken word artists also performed on the night, including Adrian Green. There was also drumming by the Pylons Creative Workshop, live music by the 822 Band, and acts by the Mighty Gabby and Bobo.
And you will be playing your role. You will be a boy in hell. And at the end of the days, as you said, son, the Creator is in you. Well done, well done, well done, well done, well done. and we listen. They tell we can't throw the righteous, that revolution wasn't really for us, because socialism was a Russian invention, and humans couldn't tell the real difference. In fact, they still can't. God help us. We listen. So Gary was crooked, and Rodney was mad, and Courtney was stupid. Dead men cannot be bad. And we need killing kingsmen and shackle drinking blood and Martin Luther King like that woman and Jacqueline Craig that they disappear in Grenada in the But it's how we just sit down so when the mountain, when the mother all that, when the Lord never be alone. All the color of these people is the next Rastafari thing is then go off for no more children and with a sword.
So they come after my children with their MTV and their BET to pimp slap, kidnap and brainwash them. Not to mention their Fox News, their BBC and their CNN. But you see that media that they're feeding ya is their delivery system for all kinds of slow burning, slow working social poisons. But for as long as the African has been loxing, we have been unfoxing all their tricks and psychosocial neurotoxins, and we are still here.
The event was held in association with the Spicetown Global Freedom Festival, St. Peter Parish Independence Committee, the St. Peter Parish Organizing Committee, and the Spicetown Task Force for Hybrid Studies. Director with the Center for Hybrid Studies, Dr. Derek Murray, described the event as a major success.
Tonight was extremely successful. This is a signature event, Cuffy's Revolutionaries. It is one event in the season of Emancipation, but it's also an event in the Spicetown Global Freedom Festival. So the Center for Hybrid Studies, we work with the Parish Independence Committee, St. Peter Parish Independence Committee, the St. Peter Parish Organizing Committee, and the Spicetown Task Force to conceptualize this event celebrating, commemorating Cuffy's plot in 1675. And to do that, we are inducting persons that we call Cuffy Revolutionaries every year. So this year is the first year, it's Clement Armstrong. We're extremely pleased with the turnout. We're extremely pleased with the response to the production. And we look forward to continuing the event for as long as we have the struggle to battle on for.